welcome to An Evening with Nirvana. It's a podcast where I'm talking to a series of guests from the Doom community, talking about mapping, we're talking about level design, other facets of game development. Today on the podcast, I'm talking to Decino, who, if you've ever looked for Doom content on YouTube, you're likely to have heard of. He's one of the biggest Doom creators around, creating UV saveless playthroughs of some of the toughest WODs going, and his analysis videos deep diving into the wonderful weirdness of Doom's code. It's great to have you on the podcast today. Welcome, Decino.
Thank you, Nirvana, for the introduction. I feel quite honored to sit on this virtual seat, so to speak, because there were a lot of prolific and very important people sitting on this seat, so it's quite special that I can join this little podcast.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Yeah. It's an honor to have you, Decino, frankly. Always been an honor to have all my guests, really. Always a great discussion. So, obviously, it was a little difficult preparing for this one, I'll say, because you have quite a lengthy Q&A on your YouTube channel where you've answered like a lot of questions, but I put some effort into trying to integrate them a little bit, and hopefully we can expound on them. But unfortunately, this one you have answered in your Q&A and in other places too. But just for a refresher, for anyone who hasn't seen your videos, how did you get introduced to Doom in the first place?
I love that question. I'll try to include some more information that I haven't shared yet, so to make it a bit more special. Yeah. I was a bit of a late bloomer, or actually the household was a bit of a late bloomer. Like my father, I think, brought Doom to our house in the late 90s, maybe in 99. I was barely conscious back then, so didn't really have many memories of that, but I believe he brought Doom 95. I think we had all Dooms, including Final Doom. And some of my earliest memories were me playing E3M8 with my sister. We had an interesting way to play Doom. Like, I would use the arrow keys, or she would use the arrow keys, and then the other person would use control to shoot and space to open doors. So kind of like a tandem Doom. Yeah, we actually played a lot of games like that because we had a computer, didn't really have like two joysticks to play together, or let alone have games that had a cooperative gameplay. So we were quite creative in that sense. But earliest memory was E3M8, encountering the Spider Mastermind for the first time and being absolutely scared. We ran away from the computer, hid behind the couch, and we just shut off the game because we didn't expect such a huge enemy there.
Wow.
And another early memory is GoToIt, because of the ridiculous amount of Mancubi that you encountered at the start. That for some reason I just never forgot about that, and how shocked I was how difficult this game can get. And yeah, I was just really young. I just had other games to play. I was a huge Nintendo nerd back then. Like, I had the Game Boys, I had Nintendo 64, the Super Nintendo, GameCube, and yeah, eventually I just kind of forgot about Doom until the mid 2000s, and this is where Nintendo is relevant because don't tell the cops, but my father had a flash card for the Game Boy Advance, so I could flash any game. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try Doom on a GBA. Like, I do remember Doom, and I think I tried to play it on the computer before that, but it required DOS, and you had to do some hacks, and I didn't know anything about computers back then. I didn't know about DOSBox. I don't even know if it existed back then, probably. But you also had to mess with the compatibility settings to Windows 98. I have no idea, but I never got Doom to work properly because I thought it was a DOS-only game.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that source ports were a thing. So I thought, I want to try Doom, and well, it doesn't work on the computer, so I'll try the Game Boy Advanced. And I played Doom 1 and Doom 2, and I thought, it's actually pretty cool. It was my first time beating the games.
You beat both of the games on Game Boy Advance. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And the Doom 1 version is pretty cursed. I think it's based on the Jaguar version, but the final level was like Fortress of Mystery, and I thought, wow, where's the spider that I remembered from the past? And I believe Doom 2 did introduce her again, but Doom 2 was also quite cursed. Like, some maps were split in two, like the Chasm and the Industrial Zone. I have some good memories about the game, but thinking back, it was weird. And that was my real first conscious introduction to Doom. And then, let me think. I think I downloaded Doomsday Engine. Like, I kind of did some Googling. There was this website called olddoom.com. I think it was run by Jake Gilbert, I think was his name. And he basically had like this personal website about Doom. Like, he recommended source ports, he recommended WADs, and I think one of the source ports was Doomsday Engine, and one of the recommended WADs was Have Revealed.
Right.
And that's kind of how I got into PWADs. I don't know if I'm going too fast, or if you were about to ask.
I did have that question coming up. I did, but it's fine.
Okay, well, then here's your answer. That's how I got into PWADs, and of course, I got into Have Revealed 2, and I pretty much beat both of those with, well, cheats, because I was really young and I was a kid. I wasn't really into Doom that much. It was just a fun experience to just see what people built. And I'm having a bit of a blank here.
So you got into PWADs pretty early, like pretty quickly. You were sort of seeking out extra content.
I want to say I beat Have Revealed 1 and 2 before I actually beat Ultimate Doom and Doom 2.
Oh, okay.
That's what I wanted to say. I never really got into the iWADs for some reason, like until I did the YouTube series. I think in my old videos I mentioned like, I don't know this map that well, because I maybe practiced it once and then recorded the video. Yeah. But the PWADs, I started with those, and also with Plutonia. I was really into Plutonia and TNT. I think I like TNT more because of the atmosphere, but now I prefer Plutonia for the combat design. But it was in the mid-2000s, and then again, the Wii came out, and I was back to Nintendo. I got really into Guitar Hero, like competitively.
Actually, Guitar Hero? I want to hear about
Guitar Hero 3. Like, I actually went to competitions and stuff, and I did won second place in one of them. And I still feel really scammed, because first place was like an Xbox 360 with a drum kit for Guitar Hero 4 and guitar, like an entire set worth at least 500 euros or something. And second prize was a mouse pad. It didn't scale well.
Like the drum kit on for prize 2 or something, give you something. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was just a plain mouse pad. Well, it was one of those long rectangular ones that you can put your keyboard on top of it.
Well, it's something. What a third place.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was a very long time ago. This was 2008, I think. I was, I think I was a young teenager. Yeah. And so I got into Guitar Hero, and at the same time, I also got into Quake 2.
Right.
I told you I'm a late bloomer, but let's go back to when my father brought Doom 95 home. He also brought Quake and Quake 2. And Quake 1 scared me shitless because of the zombies.
Yeah, spooky.
Like the moaning sounds, and they're like these skinny, disfigured, human-like creatures. My imagination couldn't handle it, so never got into Quake as a kid. And Quake 2, we played multiplayer. So again, my sister on the arrow keys, or me on the arrow keys, and we just used control to shoot. And I believe we used page up and page down, the keys, and I think end. to look up and down.
Wow.
And would reset your view to central or center. And yeah, we played Quake 2 a lot. We played 3-way capture the flag.
Was this all on one keyboard still?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, well, let's just say we were not the best teammates, but we had a lot of fun. So let's skip ahead 10 years. Again, during my Guitar Hero years, I discovered Quake 2 again. I'm not sure how, I think just nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I got really, really, really into it. I, again, very competitively, like I played Action Quake 2, like that pseudo Counter-Strike mod, but with insane speed and platforming, and it's ridiculous. If you've played it, you know what I mean. But yeah, like you could bump into people, kick off, or knock off their weapons from their hands and stuff. It was insane. Like
wow. Quake
2 is definitely one of my best multiplayer memories. And I played stuff like Gloom, which is also like a competitive humans versus aliens kind of game mode, like very, very creative, way ahead of its time. Not sure if you've heard of what's the name again? Natural Selection for Half-Life.
Is this? Oh, it's Half-Life. No, I haven't.
Okay, well, I think Gloom was the predecessor, but it was like really well done. And Quake 2's anniversary is in, let me think, December. I think I want to show off all the mods that I used to play because they're again ahead of their time, and I just really cherish those memories. And then there was stuff like Jump, which is like parkour kind of mod. So you just compete with hundreds of people for the best time in a jump level. You just jump, double jump.
Yeah, that seems to be common
strafe
in
jump.
a lot of games. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with games that have the Quake engine as a base because the physics are just incredible. So yeah, Quake 2, very competitive. Also some RPG mods like King of the Server and Vortex. Lots of mods, and that really inspired me also to make my own mods, and that's pretty much how I learned programming. So it was a huge influence on my life. And yeah, that lasted for quite a while. I mean, Quake 2 was kind of on life support already. I mean, the game was 10 years old.
Right.
So around the early 2010s, I think I called it quits.
So the game was really old, so you decided to play a game that was 10 years older.
Yeah, exactly. No, I switched to a more modern game. So I went from Guitar Hero to Quake 2 to, you're never gonna guess it, Minecraft.
Hell yeah. Great game.
Yeah. So Minecraft I also played, it may sound weird, but it was a very competitive server.
Is this the Battle Royale mode for Minecraft?
This was before the Battle Royale. Okay. This was, what you could do is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Minecraft, but you have like chunks, which are 16 by 16 blocks of land, you could say. And we ran a plugin where you could claim these chunks as your own, and then enemies were not able to destroy blocks. So you can kind of make like a base, protect it using this plugin, but you could still shoot TNT using TNT cannons to these bases. So griefing was kind of encouraged in a way.
Were the base, like the blocks that you built the base out of, were they destructible, just not the ground beneath them?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
No, everything was destructible through TNT. TNT had no rules.
Ah, okay.
The only way to protect your base, for example, was to cover your base in water. Because TNT cannot blow up any blocks if it explodes in water. But some people were smart enough to make sand cannons. So you could launch a piece of sand onto the water and drain the water like that.
Wow, that sounds
like it was amazing. It was really competitive. It was really mean as well. Like people were extremely mean to each other. It kind of was like a no rules kind of server. Very like you raid a base of another faction. That was the name of the plugin, by the way, Factions. You could make your own faction and then invite people and claim enemies or allies and stuff like that. But yeah, I have some really good memories. I you could almost say I have a bit of a trauma. Like sometimes you'd go to bed, like you would shut off your computer and think, crap, what if they raid my base while I'm asleep?
Oh,
because that happens
so it's
sometimes.
like Rust or something, where the server sort of stays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And even now, 10 years later, I still sometimes dream that I'm getting raided. So it had quite an impact in a way. Like I wake up all sweaty and I'm like, oh crap, did I get raided? No, wait, I haven't played for 10 years. What am I?
I used to have a similar thing. I worked as a qualified chef for a long time in a kitchen. And when you're working in a kitchen, you have like a bunch of things just going on at the same time. You might have like stuff on the stove, stuff in the oven, stuff on the grill. So in the back of my head, I was always like, did I leave something in the oven too long? And then years later, at just like random intervals, I would have that thought of, did I leave something in the oven? Even though I wasn't cooking anything or doing anything related to cooking.
It's crazy how the brain works. I also have it with university. I don't know if you went to university, but
I did.
Sometimes I have a dream where I'm in a class, and I think it's like the last course needed to get my final credits. And then I'm in the class. I'm like, oh wait a minute, am I in the right class or not? Or oh crap, I didn't buy the books or something like that.
Right.
I'm not gonna get the credits. It's like those life events that just will stick forever, I think. And even something stupid like Minecraft still is in my mind. I haven't really played the game competitively in a decade. I mean, sometimes with friends I play for like half an hour and then I get bored of it because I miss the hardcore elements of the game. But
right, yeah.
My point is, the question was about Doom. Why am I talking about Minecraft?
Yeah.
Well, here it comes.
I'm ready.
When I was done with Minecraft, that's when I rediscovered Doom for the third time. And I think I had a long break from video games in general. Like Minecraft ended in 2014, I think, my competitive scene. And then I kind of focused on uni. I kind of focused on myself. Like I started working out and stuff and be more social because I was a bit of a shut-in. So kind of wanted to grow my social skills, personality. So I became a bit of a normal person, you could say.
Yeah.
For a couple of years. I still played like sometimes Quake. I rediscovered Quake, like Arcane Dimensions. That looked cool. I think I recorded some videos of that.
I think so.
On my old channel, the Sinus Junkyard. My alternative channel, in case you didn't know it existed. I upload music to it now.
I saw it. Yeah.
So I played that. I think, stuff like Series M3 was also a thing. So I still played, but not like competitively. Like that was way too stressful. And then, in late 2018, I thought, okay, I want to play Doom again because I reviewed 1 and 2. I remember those very fondly. I want to kind of explore more. And also around that time, it's actually maybe for another question about how or why I started YouTube, but basically in 2018, I rediscovered Doom, and then that's kind of how I continued until now. So I rediscovered Doom 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Doom, Quake 2, Minecraft, Guitar Hero, Doom, pretty much.
The classic route, really, to Doom.
Yeah, and then of course I didn't talk about Pokemon, which I also played a lot as a kid.
Great game.
A lot of games on my GameCube, and I played a lot of video games back then. And in the end, I stick with Doom. It's the best one.
Everyone always comes back, I think.
I was surprised. Like I listened to your podcasts of the other Doomers, and they all have similar stories. Like they went from Doom to Quake, and then back to Doom. Like
there's
something about Doom.
It seems like there's always you begin in the 90s or whatever, and you play it a little bit as a kid, and then you come back to it either like one more time, or you come back to it and then play it a bit, and then you come back to it again later, but you always come back.
Yep. By the way, I omitted a lot of details about Doom. Like in the late 2000s, I actually made a mod. I made some maps, but maybe that's for another question.
Oh yeah, I do have one regarding some mapping stuff, so we'll definitely get to that. So I was gonna ask, so like your videos have generally like a focus on challenge, even from the beginning with Hell Revealed and stuff. A lot of your Doom videos are based around UV saveless runs, and other games like Rack and Serious Sam are sort of challenge runs too a lot of the time. So I was going to ask you, when did you start enjoying difficult games? But I suppose it seems that you've always had like a competitive streak with games like Quake and Minecraft and stuff. Do you think that that is mostly where it comes from, just being a competitive person?
Well, single player is very different from multiplayer.
Of course,
I think multiplayer has more. You have to rely more on your teammates and stuff. So it's more stressful, that's for sure. Because one mistake and your entire team fails pretty much. Single player, I think it didn't really start with Doom per se. Single player like challenges. I would even dare to say it started with the Super Nintendo. I had Super Mario All Stars, which had the well, in Japan it's called Super Mario Brothers 2, and internationally it's called The Lost Levels, which was like this really. It was too challenging for non-Japanese people. I think it's the urban legend.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a myth. I think there is some other story as to why it didn't get released. But
so I did play that, and even I don't know how I did it, but I think I was not even 7 or 6 years old, and I somehow beat it. I have no idea how, but I did it. I think I used War Pipes, so it doesn't really count, but I did beat the game. And I think beating a challenging game like that from very early on kind of hardwired me to just keep challenging me or keep challenging myself. Another very hardcore game, maybe you're familiar with it, is the first Rayman game.
I played it a little bit, but yeah, I don't know too much.
I mentioned I was a Nintendo nerd, but I did have a PlayStation 1. So that was my one and only PlayStation console. Never had a 2, which I kind of regret. But
I also missed out on the 2,
yeah, 2 had like Silent Hill 2 and 3 and a lot of other great games that I played at a friend's house, but I never actually owned the games myself. But so yeah, Rayman was also extremely hardcore. I don't think I ever beat it because you had to also get all the cages and stuff, and to actually go to the final level, and it was just way too much for me. But again, I did enjoy the challenge, and I also really enjoyed how surreal the game was. Like the environments were really strange, and the music was either happy or very eerie. It's a very atmospheric game. I think it aged really well, so if you haven't played it yet, you should, if you like a bullshit challenge. But my point is that from a very young age, I challenged myself with these games, and yeah, it just stuck around. And I thought, with Doom, it's a very complex game. There's always room to learn, and that's cool. There's a lot of different levels, a lot of creativity going on. I just want to see what people made, no matter how difficult it is. And yeah, it started with Hell Revealed, so not the best example.
Well, we'll certainly get to Hell Revealed, but I was also pretty similar as a kid. Lost Levels is actually a major thing for me too. I also beat that when I was a child and struggled through it a lot, but it was mostly having older brothers and just sort of wanting to play what they played, like playing Chrono Trigger when I could barely read and all these games, things like that. So I definitely feel some sort of kindred nature to our upbringing in that respect.
I wonder if it's like a common thing among other, like, the more hardcore Doom players.
There at least seems to be some amount of either competitive gaming or like wanting to seek out challenge in games from an early age.
Yeah.
For sure. At least based on my interviews and talking to other people in the community. So we're actually so to Hell Revealed. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with that WOD, and was this your first experience playing through a WOD? At least when you recorded at Saveless for your channel, was this your first time sort of playing through a WOD fully saveless, like a challenging WOD?
With commentary, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not entirely true. I think on my Junkyard channel, I have an unlisted video of me playing through. This was back when Romero remade E1M4.
Oh yeah.
I recorded that with commentary with my microphone from my laptop. It sounded really bad, and I was stumbling over my words, and I sounded like a robot. It was very soulful, but the only reason I recorded that was to gain clout from John Romero.
Right.
Because, he was this, like, god in my eyes, like, oh wow, he made Doom. And I knew that he was quite active with, like, responding to emails. So the only reason I recorded that was to send him an email and be like, hey, look, I made a video of your map. And, like, within minutes, I don't think he watched it, but he said, oh wow, cool, thank you. And yeah, that was, like, I think 2 years before I started the actual Hero View playthrough. But back in my head, I did have, for a very long time, the idea to record videos of in a game, like with commentary. And this was also back then when I was really into a YouTube channel called Pannenkoek 2012. Like, he made a video that absolutely blew up and had a bit of a meme status. But what he basically does is he tries to beat Super Mario 64 without pressing the A button on the controller.
Right.
So you cannot jump, pretty much. So what he does is he creates the most absurd glitches to, like, gain verticality or to just warp to places on the level without having to jump. And if you're really into, like, these technical kind of things, you should really check out his channel, Pannenkoek 2012, if you use the English pronunciation. But yeah, he, like, really explains well why the stuff happens on the screen. Like, he's very precise and very perfect, and it was really inspiring. And well, I was also into programming myself, and yeah, I was slowly getting back into Doom again, and I thought, oh yeah, Doom is open source. I can read the code and stuff. And but yeah, back to the point about the commentary. Yeah, it was always on my head, in my mind, to start a YouTube channel. I just wanted to commentate over why I play in a certain way, or why I beat the level like this, stuff like that. And on top of that, I also wanted to talk about the quirks or bugs or anything about Doom, because the game got really interesting to me.
Did you find that, like, your actual gameplay improved quite a bit playing through things saveless in the early stages?
Yes. It's a combination of gameplay and watching other people play.
Yeah.
And understanding how the engine works. Like, especially stuff like the infighting threshold. I didn't know how it worked before I made that video, so during Hero Reviewed, you may see me asking, oh, why is he not infighting back,
Yeah.
But that's because the enemy didn't move enough, and you shot him too early or something like that. So just going through the Doom wiki, reading about all the engine quirks, doing research myself, that improved my my gameplay for sure. But of course, playing stuff like Sunlust also did. That really...
yeah. Oh, I'll get to Sunlust.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at the history of your YouTube channel, it seems that sort of the videos that initially blew up were your like analysis videos, the early ones. I think the first one you posted was, "Is it possible to beat Doom without firing?" About
Oh yeah. I also wanna talk about this video real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I really wanted views, and in late 2018, it was a really popular topic to make videos about, can you beat game X without Y? So can you, for example, can you beat Super Mario Brothers without collecting any coin? Like, these were very, very, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, if I want to get some views, I need to make something similar. So I thought, okay, Doom has like pacifist demos, I can talk about them. But I was a bit too strict with my rules, because I think I said no shooting at all, not even swinging your fist.
Right.
And then I watched the E2M8 demo, and 4 Shock Blast wakes up a lost soul by swinging his fist. And I'm like, oh crap, oh shit. I don't want to rewrite my script, so I just cut out the part where he swings his fist very, very sneakily.
Oh,
I still, I want to apologize for that, but I kind of broke my own rules. I think I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it in the episode 4 pacifist video. I think I did. Not exactly sure.
I think you need to post an apology officially.
Yeah. I'll make a community post between now and 2066.
Okay, so we just have to wait until you're, mid to late 60s, and we should get a response.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, like, did you have the idea in your head that this would reach like a larger audience? But I suppose you did. Like, that was exactly what you were attempting to do with those videos, and it kind of worked.
Well, if you put this much effort into a video, of course you want people to watch it. I don't believe that people make a video just well, of course you can have fun making the video, but it's always nice to have something in return. And in this case, it was views or feedback in the comments. It's always nice to have. But no, I honestly did not expect 1 million views, or I don't know, is it 2 million already at this point? So maybe I'm.
One of them is 1.9 or something. I think maybe it's that one. Yeah, it's quite a lot.
And that I still cannot believe that.
It is an insane number for sure.
Yeah, I think last time I ordered my videos by views, I think I had 5 above 1 million. I'm like, what? And of course, it's the videos I'm least proud of. But
well, can't have it all,
Yeah, like some videos I put so much effort into it. Like my last video about the disappearing projectiles, like I did a lot of research about it, and I did a lot of cool graphics, and I actually wrote my own program to generate sprites that move, like from any angle, that I've been using for almost 2 years, I think. Like in that video with the monster or the demon weapon, no, the demon stats speed video.
Right, yeah.
The video that shows all the attributes of each demon. You see all these cool sprites that move around. I use the program for that, which I do want to release one day for other content creators, but it's a bit clunky right now. But what was my point again? I kind of lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Just about whether you thought those videos would have sort of reach outside of Doom.
Sorry, my mind's a bit chaotic sometimes. No, I absolutely did not expect it, let alone even 10,000 subscribers, because Doom is a very niche kind of game.
Yeah.
Doom 2016 did bring back a bit of life, but then again, Doom 2016 kind of died after a year or so, which is a great game, by the way. I love Doom 2016.
It is,
Oh yeah, that was again. I'm gonna go on a little tangent here, but Doom 2016 came out before I got back into Classic Doom. It did not influence my Classic Doom interest, by the way, but Doom 2016 again was one of those games that was like very hardcore and challenging. Zero Master beat Ultra Nightmare like on the same day, I think, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I also beat it like I think a week after the game's release on Ultra Nightmare. Like, oh, I remember how sweaty I was. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Because Doom 2016 is very unforgiving. Like, if you miss a jump, you pretty much just die.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a desktop computer back then. I had this crappy laptop. So I played the game in lowest resolution and at like 20 FPS on average. So jumping was every time a mini heart attack.
Yeah.
But it was one of those games again that really filled or really gave me a nice challenge that like really felt good to beat.
Yeah.
So yeah, Doom 2016. If you haven't played it yet, you should. It's good.
Yeah, I did 2016 on. I played it initially and I didn't love it, but then I came back and I did a second playthrough and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't actually do Ultra Nightmare until Doom Eternal, and then I sunk a lot of hours into that game and did quite a few Ultra Nightmare runs. That was a great.
Both are really good games.
Yeah, for sure. So when you actually started your channel, you said you wanted to sort of do commentary of your gameplay. Were you always thinking I want to make a Doom channel, or were you just thinking I will just do like variety, like a bunch of different games, and then it would always be that way, kind of thing?
Well, you've seen I did Rec, I did Serious Sam.
Yep.
In the early days, so it was all about games that I enjoyed back in the day, and or games that I want to get better at. But no, it was not always necessarily about Doom, and I still do not really want to call. I don't really want to call my channel exclusively a Doom channel.
Yeah.
I think my about page still says fast-paced FPS games instead of Doom. But Doom is my favorite game. It brings me the most joy, and the variety and challenges is unlimited. And yeah, it's just easy to boot up, play, record, and yeah, it's just the most enjoyable one. Like, I never got into Serious Sam's custom levels, for example.
Oh yeah.
I did have a Quake playthrough, but Quake 1.5 it's called. Like, it's like a brutal Quake kind of
I see.
mod. But yeah, it was just not just gameplay wise was changed, but also the levels were also changed a bit to be more modern. So that was a cool experience. But no, I wouldn't call my channel exclusively Doom, but at this point it kind of is. Although I did release a Serious Sam analysis video not too long ago, so I still have like backup topics to talk about.
Sure. So it was just more of like a natural progression, really. That like those were the videos that did better, and you generally preferred recording, so it just ended up being primarily Doom, but not necessarily just Doom.
No, but yeah, like I said, Doom just has the most content that I enjoy, like custom levels, the quirks I can talk about in analysis videos and stuff like that.
And did you have prior editing or video making experience, like before you started making a YouTube channel, or did you just learn as you went along?
No, I knew how to cut a clip into another clip, but not much editing experience at all.
And in terms of your playthroughs, for the most part, and also your analysis videos, did you find there was a point with YouTube where you really got like your format down? Can you think about like maybe a specific moment or playthrough series where you were like, okay, this content's really good and I'm starting to like feel what my format is?
Well, you said to wait before talking about Sunlust, but I want to mention Sunlust. I think that's where my playthroughs peaked.
Right.
It's the format where I start the level. I have no idea what the level is. I don't know what to expect. And I just try to survive as long as I can. Maybe die 2 or 3 times, depending how far I get. And then I just go like, okay, I'm going to practice. And then I practice off screen. And then I just do the winning run pretty much.
Yeah.
And that format really was really popular. So I integrated with all my blind runs pretty much. If I die too much, I just go to the practiced run. But not every WOD was suitable for that. Like Back to Saturn X episode 2. It's not exactly a WOD where you would easily die.
Yeah.
Because of course it's like vanilla limits. You cannot have thousands of enemies on the screen at once, or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into an issue there that some videos almost became 2 hours long because I was looking for like a secret that I couldn't find. And I learned from that I should probably fast forward stuff, or just skip everything, show like a fade in, fade out kind of edit. Because who cares that I or hump walls for like half an hour?
Mm-hmm.
I do get comments of people saying, "Oh, it's very relaxing hearing you hump walls and hearing your train of thought." But no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's
also, even streaming, you feel that like, oh, I'm wasting too much time, and you are constantly aware of like an audience, I suppose, when you're doing these things.
Yeah, and it's also rendering time.
Yeah,
because I render in 1440p. Takes quite a long time, even with GPU rendering. And yeah, every minute kind of counts because I don't want to upload a video at 3 a.m.
Yeah, of course. So
as for the analysis, sorry.
Oh no.
One more thing. As for the analysis videos format, I think I got the format done pretty quickly. I would almost say in my second video already, where like I just jump into the topic, no intros, no nothing, just boom, talk about the thing, show the thing, explain the thing, and then do an outro.
Mm-hmm.
I like very direct editing. I think only one time I did like a little skit at the beginning, or maybe twice. One is with the video where I show the sound origins of the Doom sounds. I do like a little skit of 1 minute, and then the other one was the fake sponsor of the Doom graphics video.
Right, yeah.
And I think also in the past this video I did like a Nirvana sitting outside kind of Doom 2 map 21 Nirvana kind of thing. Very rarely I do those, but I prefer to just immediately talk about, look, Doom has a bug, it causes this, and why does this happen? Let's go look at the code. And I think that's the best format.
Mm-hmm. And
also, it's more fun to edit and watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind introductions as long as they're actually sort of part of the video. I really don't like the thing on YouTube of like people who have an introduction that's like just them talking about their own channel for a long period of time and stuff like that. I really.
Hey guys, I'm gonna talk about this, but first, look, I have some photos from my holiday. Oh, and by the way, get a 50% discount off of my I don't know, my toilet seat or something like that.
Yeah, Manscaped, Audible,
And then the video's like 8 minutes long, and then they pad the video.
Yeah, it's just a black
like 6 minutes of the video with just garbage, and they talk about the topic for 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, because I think they recommend YouTube videos should be 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure is what they say.
Yeah, this is a misconception about YouTube. I know one thing or two about YouTube after almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
The reason people want to make 10-minute long videos is so you can place mid-rolls, like the ads in the middle of the video.
Yeah,
you cannot do that if your video is shorter than 8 minutes. People think it's still 10 minutes, but YouTube changed it to 8 like a year ago.
Right.
So that's the reason why people kind of want to just keep talking, pad it, all the way until the 8-minute limit is reached, because then they can place mid-rolls, and that means more ad revenue.
Beautiful. Great.
And I
great part of the process.
absolutely hate mid-rolls. I disable them on all my videos. I think it's very intrusive and annoying.
I agree 100%. So could you maybe talk a little bit more in detail about the process you have for making one of your playthrough series, from like picking a WOD and then going through it and sort of creating footage for it and such?
That's a difficult question because it's a very almost impulsive kind of thing.
Right.
Of course, I get a lot of recommendations. Like before I did Sunlust, I didn't know who Ribix was, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So people recommended Sunlust, and I did play Sunlust before. I think it cleft to like maps 25 and 30. And I remember getting my ass kicked, and I thought, nope, this one is too difficult. And then, yeah, a couple of months later, I just did it anyway to raise the bar. And I'm like, wow, this is actually a really good WOD. Who made this? Oh, Ribix and Danny. Okay. I want to see more what they did. And then I discovered some of the Whales, Stardate, Combat Shock, stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's almost like a snowball effect. I discover one WOD, and then I find about the authors, and I kind of want to discover more. But sometimes it's also just recommendations from comments or friends of mine. For example, Doom 2 in Spain only was purely me because I was browsing Doom World and I saw the OP, I saw the credit screen, and I saw stuff like Juan Romero, and it just really, I laughed my ass off, and I thought, yep, I gotta play this. And I also listened to the soundtrack on YouTube, on James Paddock's channel.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is like high quality stuff. And yeah, I just want to show it off.
Mm-hmm. And what about sort of actually the filming process of capturing the footage and stuff like that? Is that all captured through one playthrough, or do you have to go back to capture extra bits, or what do you generally do?
No, it's always one take, and then I just edit out me booting up the game and quitting the game. And sometimes I fast forward if I'm looking for like a secret or something. And then when I'm done recording, I record my infamous greetings everyone intro.
Yeah.
And then I just stitch everything together.
Mm-hmm. And how much?
By the way, fun fact. Fun fact about greetings everyone. There was a very, very, very spontaneous thing. I never gave it any thought, but it stuck, so yeah, I kept doing it.
Well, I think you don't really think about what your introduction's going to be. Like even doing the intro for the podcast, I was like, do I want this to be the intro forever, or like, I don't know. You just say something and then it's like, well, I'll just do this every episode so it's consistent, and that's it.
Yeah, usually the spontaneous ideas are the best ones in my opinion. So
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. So like it's exactly what your brain thinks at the moment, and
you just gotta roll with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much footage do you think you'd end up recording for a harder WOD then, where you may have like multiple deaths and having to re-record footage and stuff like that?
Oh, I kind of documented that with No Chance. Mm-hmm. In my outtakes, I do show the timestamps of when I started recording and when I stopped recording.
Yeah.
And I think the average recording lasts 2 to 3 hours, right. Especially if I got really far and then died at the final fight 50 minutes into the map. I would say No Chance recording took maybe 9 hours spread over 3 evenings. Oof. But I also did a lot of practicing off screen on my Discord. I stream on my Discords quite often. Well, not quite often, but if I have a very difficult level to practice, I just practice there and I chat with friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, No Chance is a weird one because it's a massive amount of difficulty at the beginning, and then there are a few like spiky points throughout, but it's not actually as difficult as people think.
No, people. When I was playing Magnolia on Hermit Plenty, people were like, you've beaten No Chance in UV. I'm sure you can beat Magnolia in UV as well. And I'm like, okay, first of all, No Chance, relatively speaking, is not as difficult as you think it is. Maybe, yeah, the beginning is kind of I don't want to call it RNG because I just had a really bad strategy. David A1, he showed me one where he kind of ran to the tightrope kind of section in the middle of the map, and he just lowered the entire floor. He camped for a moment or something, and I think he could kill the imps from there, all while being safe from projectiles. So there's a strategy that just is way more consistent than what I did. I just rushed to the imps, and yeah, well, that doesn't always end up well because all those imp deaths, the infamous imp cliff, kind of became a meme status on my channel. So, yeah, and of course the final fight is pure skill. The huge wave of revenants is really tricky to deal with. You just need to spray with the BFG at a certain rhythm to keep them away. But if you mess up, the revenants will overwhelm you. Mm-hmm. So, but the rest of the map, maybe the sniping cyberdemons can catch you off guard. The close quarter combat with the cyberdemon that you need to kill with the super shotgun.
That awkward imp way with the cyber at the top, that is probably the worst part of the map for me. I think you get the plasma gun and you have to push up, and I think there's a switch behind it, and then you have to go down the stairs and a bunch of imps.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I don't think I really had trouble with that, although I did get scammed really badly in one of my outtakes. Like the cyber appeared out of nowhere.
But that happened to me a few times, yeah.
Yeah, the map also kind of suffers from a lot of monster blocking line depths that you can really abuse, I would say. Mm-hmm. Like the yellow key area. I think it's the yellow key area with when the pain elementals spawn and the lost souls just cannot do anything if you go back to the stairs, something like that. But no chance. Yeah, I think in terms of difficulty, it's overrated. But I can see it still being ranked high in difficulties because of the final fight that is at least 40 minutes into the map. You need to be very consistent with that.
I would definitely say it's a very difficult one. Like, it's definitely one of the hardest Doom mods I've played, but it's not insurmountably difficult like I think people assume it is. And I would probably say Magnolia UV is harder just because of ammo distribution. And
Magnolia UV is definitely a lot harder.
It's a lot more awkward too. Like, I don't know how to describe it. The combat is just a lot more awkward and a lot tighter than No Chance.
Yeah. Magnolia really requires stuff like ammo management, and if you want to max map 1, then good luck because of that exclusive secret. Map 3, it's just damaging floors suddenly everywhere, and that freaking cyberdemon at the final fight that's sniping the archfiles. Oh man, it's just quite something. I streamed everything on UV to show off all the changes. And whoever wants to UV Magnolia or UV Max gets my blessing.
Someone will do it. Zero Master,
I'm sure.
Caligun, somebody.
Starduster did the platforming, so he proved it's possible. Akalai was attempting map 3 for a while, and I think he does quite well, but I think he took a break because I can understand with a map like that. That suppressive can be exhausting.
Yeah, for sure.
And map 2 has been UV maxed quite quickly by... I'm not sure if Kinetic was the first one. Kinetic Beverage? Or...
Right.
I don't know what name he uses nowadays. Kinetic Calamity. UV maxed it like one day after I did my stream.
Yeah, 2 is definitely the easiest out of them.
Sure. Yeah. And then the secret maps, well, the 2 that I own, I UV maxed myself during the stream, so those are not... Well, they are tricky, but they don't require like an insane amount of grinding.
Right, yeah. And in terms of recording, you genuinely record the commentary for every single take that you do.
Yeah. Well, I do have slight variation sometimes to not drive myself crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, you could hear sometimes in the outtake, sometimes I start with okay, sometimes start with alright. Stuff like that. Very subtle things. But Doom is such a dynamic game, like RNG it's like a butterfly effect. If one imp screws you up, then you have to adapt. Like, if an imp blocks you and makes you eat a rocket, of course the commentary is going to change from that point because you have much lower health than usual. And that happens more often than you think. That one tiny thing will change like your strategies or commentary in general.
So do you have like dot points of things you might want to hit on for a given map, or not really? It's all just like off the cuff as you
No, it's just, yeah, exactly. I don't have like a notepad open on my second screen with, when you reach the yellow key, talk about this. Like everything is just in my head. And I practice some of these hard maps so often that I know exactly what I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure. So in your Q&A, which was 2019 now, it was a couple
Oh
years
boy.
ago,
I'm not really proud of those videos.
You said that Hell Revealed 2 was your favorite P-Ward at the time.
Yep.
I'm assuming that now you've played a lot more content, that's probably changed. What would you say is your favorite one now? If you can even.
I'm gonna bring it up again. Sunlust.
Of course, right.
Sunlust, well, I said it was kind of the channel's peak in terms of playthrough videos, but also in my dooming career, because the hardest what prior to that I played was Hell Revealed 2. I think, or maybe Speed of Doom, but I didn't record that. But yeah, Sunlust is such a different caliber. It's just something I never really experienced, like all these cramped fights that you really, you need to think how to approach it. And then of course there's like crazy maps like, God Machine. Like I never really beat a map that huge in a single segment, and with such a crazy fight at the end. And yeah, Sunlust really changed me in a way. It also, like I said, made me discover other mappers. Like I discovered Ribix, and then I saw Ribix also worked on that, and he did a collaboration with that person. And then I discovered the other person, what he did. It's like a chain reaction. But yeah, Sunlust really impressed me, and it really upped my skill. Like I always like to use the expression that it raised the bar. My skill ceiling got higher, and increasing that skill enables you to play even more difficult levels, so you can discover more WADs.
Well, just to discuss Sunlust a little bit more, that's how I found out about you, was through your Sunlust playthrough, because funnily enough, I was actually doing my Saveless run of Sunlust at the exact same time that you were doing yours, and we were
in sync.
We were around the exact same maps too. So as your videos were coming out, I was playing them along with you essentially. So it was cool for me to like follow along with you as I was playing them myself. And like you said, it improved you as a player. What were your main takeaways playing like a WAD that challenging Saveless? Like what do you feel it was that improved for you the most as a Doom player?
I think in my earlier playthroughs I played more carefully, like it was a bit more campy. And Sunlust, I'm still not really an aggressive player, because I don't want to take risks and potentially lose like 20 minutes of recording. Believe it or not, but I don't have that much time. I'm not a full-time YouTuber or anything. I just play in the evenings and hope I can get a video out that day. But Sunlust did teach me to, sometimes it's okay to just get close to a Cyberdemon so you can, BFG his amazing glutes and potentially save a third shot, stuff like that. And then the third shot you can use later to kill, I don't know, a group of archfiles. So playing more aggressively, like not on a speedrunning level, of course, but sometimes it's okay to take risks. That's what I learned from Sunlust. And just in general, movement, like making sure revenants, the homing missiles do not touch you. You can have spatial awareness, how to move around to keep the revenants from hitting you. But also at that point, I also just learned a lot more other quirks, like Archvals having like a low pain chance. I don't think I really knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that, just little things about the enemy attributes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably learned about the max acquisition range becoming infinite for Archvals from
that's
Fight of.
I wanted to mention that, but I lost my train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Like if they go into pain state, their range becomes unlimited, pretty much.
If they get hit at all, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they need to get pain chance.
No, it's definitely a pain chance thing.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure if you splash them with traces, even if they don't go into pain chance.
I am 100% sure.
All right. Well, I'll accept it. You make the video.
I researched it for the monster aggression video.
Well, there you go. So for Sunlust specifically, tell me about the recording process for map 28 of that WOD, because that was a particularly brutal one. And
yeah, I honestly don't know why it kicked my ass so much, because the map isn't actually that difficult looking back. Maybe the secret final fight can be tricky, but other than that, yeah, it's just stupid tiny mistakes that just kept killing me, and they were mostly early deaths, I think. And I believe this was also during the time I had renovations at home, so I wasn't even home in my own house when I recorded like the final 3 maps of Sunlust. I had to drive back to my mom's place, because that's where we were sleeping at the time, because the home was a mess. So I had to drive for like an hour to my mom's place. Then I could record like a video. And no, wait, I'm phrasing this wrong. Okay, my computer was not in my house because we had renovations.
Yeah.
So we moved stuff to my mom's house because we didn't have space. So I had to drive to my mom's place for like an hour, play a bit of Sunlust, hopefully get a video, and then drive back home.
Wow. Yeah.
It was very inefficient, but it was also during the time that I really, really, really tried to have one video a day.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't have home field advantage, is what you're saying.
I was pretty much sitting with my desktop computer at a dining table. Oh, no. My mom was on holiday, so I didn't bother her or anything. But yeah, all our stuff was in the living room there, and my computer was on the dining table. And yeah, I tried to record map 28. Didn't go well. I think the second day I did manage. But it was not just the game kicking my ass, but all the driving was also just really exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really determined to beat the map on video. And in the end I did, at the cost of my sanity. But I did mention this.
I was thinking about recording your voice that much. Recording the commentary is the thing that I feel like would be the most training for something like that.
Yeah, it's something you train over time. Like I can talk for hours and hours. I mean, you've seen my live streams. I sometimes keep talking for 8 hours, but repeating the same thing over and over, that can get really taxing on your mental health.
Yeah.
But like I said, just take some words, change them around, and keep it fresh.
Yeah, try and keep it interesting for yourself, I guess, at that point.
Also, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about the process for your playthrough videos in terms of recording. What about the analysis videos? I'd imagine like there's quite a bit of time spent sort of looking for things that you feel haven't been touched on in other videos or like online, because you're probably looking to create like a unique video. Is there quite a lot of research that happens before you start one of these videos, or do you usually just sort of conceptualize them from things you're interested in?
Really depends on the topic. Some stuff, like I made a video about the explosions. The only reason I made that is because in one of my Stardate 6, videos, an archvile zapped me for 20 damage, but I was in the open area. Like there was no wall in front of me or anything.
Right.
And I'm like, how did that happen? And then David also sent me like a video of him getting zapped by an archvile, but it dealt no damage at all. So some weird line of sight kind of bug. By the way, if you're hearing weird noises, my dog is having some fun on the couch.
That's okay.
Like,
I'm always okay with animals
rolling around.
in the background. It's fine.
So yeah, it really some videos are based off what I encounter during gameplay, like during playthroughs. Like I see something weird, I'm like, I'm gonna analyze that. And some topics are just under-documented, like the all ghosts bug. That one took me a long time to research because the Doom Wiki says, oh yeah, there's an intercepts overflow to 128 intercepts, and then the all ghosts happen. Yeah, okay, but why does it happen? You know?
Right.
So I did some digging, and that took a long time, but I'm really proud of that video in particular because it feels like I unearthed something. And even Zero Master was like, hey, cool, we can use this to speedrun Hunted from Plutonia and E1M8 from Doom 1. And he did. He found a spot, not even tool assisted, to trigger the all ghosts based on the information from my video, and then he got world records for both.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Only Zero Master, huh?
And then other topics, I just browse Doom Wiki. There's like a page with all the documented bugs. I'm like, oh, this one is kind of interesting. And I have, I forgot his name, sorry. Let me Google real quick. The Doom Black Book, or Doom Engine Black Book, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
Let me quickly look up his name, because I do want to credit him. Damn it.
So it's a book about...
Fabien Sanglard. I think it's a French name. Sorry if I butchered your name, but...
Okay.
Fabien Sanglard, I don't know. The Game Engine Black Book of Doom. I sometimes just read it. Like, I used that book to make the melting screen video. So that book explains it really well.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of that book at all, actually.
It's a very technical book, so if you're into programming and stuff, it's definitely worth a read. It's very easily read, and there's like pretty pictures you can look at. It's
I think
there's an online PDF as well for free.
That's cool.
But I bought a hardcover because I want to support the writer.
Yeah, well, go out and buy the book, people.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, do it.
So we're back to your Q&A videos that you're very proud of, apparently.
Oh no.
Yeah. In answer to one of the questions that you said that as a kid you sort of had the dream of being a game developer, but you sort of said in the video that you didn't really think you had the patience for the kind of work involved. It seems like you do have a lot of patience given sort of your saveless playthroughs and the way you record your footage and things like that. What do you think is sort of different for you about the patience required for game development versus something like that?
Okay, so for the playthrough videos, most of the time I'm on autopilot.
Right.
Only for difficult fights I really have to like focus, but if there's a hallway with, I don't know, imps and you have a rocket launcher, I just shut off my brain and yeah, just move on, you know? But I have a feeling like when you design stuff, when you have to create stuff, I cannot switch to autopilot. I really have to think about every single thing that I'm trying to create. And it's very exhausting, and I notice my patience runs out. I have the same when I make maps. I have a lot of trouble making Doom maps because I get a creative block very, very quickly. So it's a bit of a miracle that I did manage to, I think I created like 4 maps last year and this year. But it was tough.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest that is more of a learned thing than you would think. I don't think that's something like intrinsic to a person. I think it is something you can learn. And a lot of it with Doom is just drawing lines. You just have to put them down without thinking about them and then let the shapes kind of inform the spaces that you're creating.
I always overthink, is this fight going to be good? Is this too much ammo or not enough ammo? And then I play through it like like 100 times. I'm like, okay, this is good, I think. And then I move on to the next area, and I'm like, okay, how do I move on from that previous fight? It was quite difficult. Should I do something more relaxing, or should I don't know, do a little platforming section a la Doom Eternal, so you can take a break? I don't know. I always overthink, and the worst part is when I have to detail a map. Like, I have no idea how to detail. Absolutely not at all.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention during my Quake 2 days, I made a lot of maps for Quake 2. Like, at least 30 maps, I think. Half of them were were like parkour maps. They were easy to make. But I also made deathmatch maps, like monster invasion maps and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly inexperienced with making maps, but I think it may sound weird, but I know too much about Doom, and I know what's fun and what isn't, and what works and what doesn't work. I just overthink, and I'm almost afraid to experiment or to go out of my comfort zone, you know?
Yeah. Also, I would imagine you have a bit of a name attached, right? So if you release a WOD, you want it to live up to the quality standards of your YouTube channel, kind of thing.
Oh, no. That's not how I think at all, honestly.
No? Okay.
No. Not with maps and music, at least. Like with videos, yes, because most people know me from the videos. But for levels, I never really thought about, oh, my name is attached to this. Maybe I should put more effort into it or something.
Sure.
I mean, you've probably seen my Poogers maps.
I was about to mention it.
Yeah.
I mostly as a way to ask sort of whether you were considering getting more into mapping in the future, or maybe like hosting like community projects through your channel or something like that.
Hosting community projects sounds like it will require too much time and effort. Like, I'd have to play test through every map, give feedback. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It would be cool, but I just don't have the resources right now.
Yeah.
And I am mapping quite a bit recently. I made a map for I don't know. I'm not sure if you played that Nightmare WOD, Not Even Remotely Fair.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it myself.
Yeah. I made map 11 for that, but we only released episode 1. So the first 11 maps, and episode 2 now is almost finished. I made map 31 as well. Very, 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 very experimental level.
That's cool.
Yeah. And really abuses the nightmare mechanics well. So I look forward to when it gets released and see what people think. And I'm also doing a collaboration on map 32. So I am making maps. I also made a map for David's community project.
Yeah, I did see that you had made one. I couldn't find it in the Discord, actually. I was gonna play test.
Yeah, I made that one when I was sick. I was
did that influence your mapping, being sick, do you think?
I don't know. It's not exactly like a very weird level. It's really difficult for sure, but I don't think it really influenced anything.
Yeah, me and Benja made some Mimi fights. Difficulty wise.
I haven't seen any of those maps yet because I want to keep it a surprise.
It's gonna be a wild ride, I think.
Yeah.
So speaking of Mimi fights and difficult fights in general, as someone who's sort of known for playing through challenging WODs, do you ever feel like there's a pressure to continually be playing like the hardest content? Do you ever want to take a break and like do some more casual playthroughs for YouTube?
I am actually taking a break right now. I'm playing through Doom 2 in Spain only, which I thought was relaxing, but it actually infuriated me more than any other WOD that I've played.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on with damaging floors and blind runs. It doesn't mix well, because kind of forces you not to explore at all, because you're going to take too much damage and potentially go through a damaging floor that has no reward at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that. In retrospect, I wouldn't have done this blind if I knew damaging floors were this bad in Doom 2 in Spain only. But most of the levels there are really good and really chill. So it's sometimes a bit of an obstacle. I have to just deal with it. And I'm also playing through Doom 2 The Way We Remember, which is really, really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most fun I've had in Doom in a while. It's just really, really, it's incredibly cursed. You should check it out if you haven't yet.
Yeah, no, I will. I did see on your channel that you were playing that, and it got me interested in it because I've been avoiding the videos because I feel like what you were saying, where it's like I kind of just want to enter a room and be like, this isn't quite right.
Yeah. Oh, and especially the music is.
Oh, even the music is cursed.
They remade the music as well from memory.
Great. That sounds cool.
It's like a fever dream.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to check that out. I suppose in a similar vein to that question, do you ever? We sort of talked about you wanting to not label your channel as a Doom channel. Do you feel sort of pigeonholed into playing Doom, or do you feel like, oh well, I could just put up like playthroughs of other games and it would be okay?
Before I answer that question, I forgot to add. You asked about me feeling pressured to play more difficult stuff.
Oh yeah.
Not exactly. I feel like I have full control over my channel, and whatever I upload, people will enjoy it. Although I do feel pressured to play Dimensions from certain people.
Yeah, the Dimensions. Something happened at some point, and Dimensions just got drilled into a lot of people's brains, and it is all you hear about a lot of the time in Twitch.
I will check it out someday. Okay, I will. Don't worry.
Look, I would honestly say Dimensions is pretty similar. If you're not going for a speed run with a fast time, I would probably say it's sort of like No Chance. It's tighter than No Chance. It's a very difficult map, but it's it's not as insane as people make it out to be, I feel like.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. I haven't actually really watched any Dimensions Map 3 playthroughs because I want to keep it a surprise. I've seen 1 and 2. They seem doable. 2 doesn't look fun at all, honestly, but gotta deal with it. And the secret levels also look just weird.
You will have a hard time. It's definitely very hard. But
yeah, of course I can imagine it being hard. But no, I don't feel pressured at all.
That's good.
People also tell me to play H-Doom, so
I'm excited for that one. I think you said you would do it, and like when you want to shut your channel down permanently. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I did show very, very brief footage on my 100,000 subscribers. Like celebration video. Not many people know that, so I did play H-Doom on my channel. So
there you go. You can stop asking.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the next question, which I forgot already.
Yeah, just regarding playing other games on your channel and feeling pigeonholed into Doom.
No, because I actually enjoyed Doom. I'm not burnt out yet, and I don't think I will be for a very long time. No, I don't really. Also, I'm not really interested in any other games right now.
Yeah.
Or I don't really even play other games. Like the last other game that I played, I think, was Serious Sam 4. But I love Serious Sam, so I just wanted to upload that. And before that was Doom Eternal. Well, it's Doom, and Doom Eternal is also just a good game. So
yeah, great game. Did you do Ultra Nightmare runs of Doom Eternal as well?
I did Nightmare.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically Ultra Violence with increased.
Sorry, Ultra Nightmare is what I meant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
I did Ultra Nightmare of the base game and DLCs.
Oh, cool.
And I also got them relatively quickly, not like within a day, like Dracu and Zero Master did, but I think I got it after like a week.
Yeah, I think it was something like 10 attempts for me, something like that.
But I found Doom Eternal easier than 2016, because in 2016 it's just very punishing if you like get meleeed, because it slows you down and then you just cannot do anything. And Doom Eternal, I forgot the name of the mechanic of the game mechanic, but if you take like lethal hit, it always keeps you alive at like 1 health.
Yeah, that sound, that little beep beep.
It's like a soft saving throw, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to fear getting instantly killed, even if you're like fully stacked, unlike Doom 2016. But of course, you have to react quickly to that by, I don't know, meat hooking to a zombie, getting some armor so you can at least tank another hit or something, and then ice bomb stuff for health.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Doom Eternal was if you ever got body blocked, you were generally dead on Ultra Nightmare. Like if you
unless you can stagger the enemy.
Like you're swooping around the fight at 1,000 miles an hour, and then suddenly you bump into like a Cacodemon or something, and then it just bites you for all your health, and then you just die instantly. It's great.
I think the mechanic I never really got used to in Eternal was the low ammo count. That you have to constantly chainsaw these arbitrarily placed zombies and stuff, and watch the same chainsaw animation at least 50 times a level. That got really exhausting, and I think that's the main reason why I just stopped playing. Also, the lack of custom content. I mean, the modders did some incredible stuff, like they did horde mode.
Yeah.
They did. I think you can replace models now. You can place level props. They even turned the battle mode arenas into levels.
Right.
So the modders are keeping the game alive, but it's not interesting enough for me. It's not like classic Doom where you can make like the weirdest levels with full creative freedom.
Yeah, with the monster counts that you can have in Doom as well.
Also.
Yeah, Danny was telling me to play the Horde mode mod. He reckoned it was superior to the actual one they introduced. Still.
Oh yeah, that official one is not really a horde mode. It's just 5 levels you play. Like, what's the word? Like in a row. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So
it's not really random, I think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely needed. I think Doom Eternal was at its best when you didn't quite know what was coming, and then because with Ultra Nightmare, I feel like it was mostly my first run, or attempting to get my first run. The reason that I died was nerves. I knew that game back to front, basically.
Yeah, every spawn, every ammo pickup location.
Exactly, yeah. And once I did subsequent Ultra Nightmare runs, I could have done that in my sleep. It was just very easy once the nerves were out of the way. But God, the heart really gets pumping on your first Ultra Nightmare run in those final levels.
God. Yeah, during the Gladiator fight and during the Icon of Sin fight, I remember my heart just doubled in rates. It was very, very exciting, but also very scary.
Yeah. When I completed it, actually, I did a run that made it to the second to last fight on Urdak, and I died.
That's painful.
And then I was going to end the stream, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I almost gave up on doing Ultra Nightmare entirely. And then I was like, you know what? I'll do one more run. And then that ended up...
And then you got it.
Yeah, that was
nice.
It was a big one. So back to classic Doom here.
Yes.
And this is maybe a bit of a question you won't be expecting, but I noticed that you have a TNT map 15 UV Max on DSDA.
Okay.
Do you have any interest in doing speedrunning at all? Or do you prefer just doing saveless runs at your own pace?
No, I prefer playing at my own pace. I never got into speedrunning, really. I think I did speedrun some rack levels, but then again, no one else did, so there wasn't really any competition. Well, that's not true. Peter, Megasphere, and I did compete for the best time on E1 L1 on rec, and I got such a good run that he gave up.
Wow, destroyed.
And yeah, like I had like the best movements. Like it was almost tool assisted. Too bad the demo doesn't exist anymore because the game got updated, so all the demos are out of sync. But no, speedrunning, I never got into it. I don't know, it's too, I wouldn't say repetitive, but I just want to have variety. Also, playing slower, I think, it's more relaxing in a way.
So fundamentally, you want Doom to be like a relaxation experience for you, not like work.
Well, it's a bit of a contradiction because I did say that I also like Doom for the challenge. Sure. But it's sometimes challenging maps can also be relaxing, and it may sound weird, but like when you beat the map, it's like the endorphins in your brain just numb your body completely, and you just that was amazing, you know?
Right, yeah. Well, Holy Hell, very relaxing. I don't know if I'd strictly call that a super challenging map these days. It's relatively easy, but Holy Hell it's a fantastic one for just chilling out, in my opinion.
Oh, I played the bad version, Holy Hell Revealed.
Oh, I don't actually know what Holy Hell Revealed is. I've heard of it, but
it's pretty much an edit made by, I don't know, who made Holy Hell again?
Oh, I can't remember, yeah.
The original? Well, the original author did not make the edit for Holy Hell Revealed, so it's kind of stolen and then butchered. Oh, no. And it just adds nonsensical enemies, extra enemies everywhere. Like
so
there's this huge.
It's like a chillax of Holy Hell.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. It's a chillax of Holy Hell, and it's completely butchered and it's impossible to UV max. And I live streamed it for my 30k or no 50k live subscriber milestone. And it was a horrible experience. I didn't bother killing everything, and I ended up just playing Mach 2 to fill the stream time.
Well,
it was horrible.
Avoid that. But play Holy Hell, which is, I just looked it up. It's by someone called JK. I had never actually looked up who made it, but
JK.
That is apparently.
I have a YouTube commenter called JK, but I don't think it's the same person.
Well,
it's like J space K in uppercase.
This is just JK together.
Oh no, then it's not the same person.
Well, you never know. Could be a slight variation. If you're out there,
Perhaps.
JK, and you're listening, make Holy Hell
review yourself.
The real one. So, you have a video of you playing with D-Wars, I think it is. The two of you did...
Dwarves, yeah.
Is it just Dwarves?
Dwarves.
Okay, Dwarves. Okay, yeah. The two of you played through Doom 1, you played through Sandy Peterson's maps, and you had him there for commentary. How did this come about originally?
Dwarves sent an email to Sandy Peterson, or at least his like community manager or something.
Yeah.
And they emailed back and forth, and in the end they were like, yeah, okay, let's discuss a time, and Sandy will join the Discord call, and we can just play through the maps. He was quite eager to talk about it. Honestly, I think it was to promote his own YouTube channel, but who cares? It's Sandy, how often do you speak to Sandy?
Yeah, right.
No, but he was really chill, and he did reveal some cool trivia about some maps. I think he did say one controversial thing, and it was about Tom Hall being in the credit screen, even in the current Doom version, but he's not. But other than that, he was really fun to talk to, and we still have episode 3 planned, but it's kind of, I don't know, on hold right now.
And what would you say overall the experience was like then? Just playing through these maps with one of the original creators of Doom, sort of talking through it. Did you have like a structured idea for how you were going to do it, or did it just sort of play out?
It just played out. I did play through episode 2 before we did the stream, because I said it before, I barely played through the IWADs, and I have a hard time remembering stuff like secrets and stuff. Although I'm getting better now after playing the cursed versions. But I did play through it, and I did like see some things I want to talk about. One example being in E2M4, at the exit door, there are exit signs attached to the ceiling, and below that is a blood damaging floor. But underneath the exit signs, there's suddenly like tiny rectangular green toxic flats. I'm like, Sandy, why are there like toxic flats here, like very small, almost you can barely see them. And he's like, oh yeah, this room used to be a green toxic floor instead of blood, stuff like that. Very like small trivia about the map making process. And then he also talked about E2M6 being his first map, and it was actually his job interview map. So he applied for the job, and they're like, okay, make a Doom level, and then we'll see if you're hired or not.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, E2M6 is probably people's favorite episode 2 map, or even favorite Doom 1 map.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sandy has a lot of good maps, and a lot of good maps in Doom 2, actually. A lot of the ones people really like from Doom 2 are actually Sandy maps,
He's the best mapper, period.
Whoa. That's strong.
Yeah.
I think it depends.
Well, yeah.
It's very dependent on which episodes you like the most in Doom 1,
okay.
I think.
We're not going to talk about the map that shares your name.
It's a rough one.
But, yeah. But Tricks and Traps, The Pit, Monster Condo, those are all my all-time favorites.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Was
he dared to experiment. That's what I liked.
Was he Spirit World as well? Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I people really hate that map, I think. Is the general idea I get, but I personally, as a kid, I loved that map, and I still have a soft spot for Spirit World.
I, as a kid, loved it as well because it was like this creepy, hellish world in Doom 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it's... I don't mind playing it, but it's a bit of a weird map. Like
2
3
invulns, baby, come on.
2 mastermind, yeah. The Archfall throne, the shootable wall to open the exit.
There's some
the
weird
fake
stuff,
wall.
But...
Yeah.
I feel like I appreciate that weird shit more the more I make maps and sort of...
Well, like I said, he liked to experiment, and some experiments work out, some don't. But I think Spirit World worked out quite well, but just in a way the map just doesn't play that well. Maybe it's the enemy placement or something, but...
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it plays great. There's a lot of weird... Once you get better at the game, I guess, like... The way the Revenants are all jammed into that doorway, and then...
Yeah.
But there is something about them all spilling out of that little room. As a kid, I was like so panicked to tackle that room, because I wasn't efficient with my invulns or anything when I was like 7, so...
Right.
A lot of the time I wouldn't have one. And all these revs just pouring out, and then, they fill up that whole upper area, and I'm like scrounging around for ammo and stuff, because I didn't use it efficiently, and... I have fun memories. Good map.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we talked a little bit about Doom Eternal, sort of jumping around a little bit here, but was there sort of a temptation with Doom Eternal, Doom 2016 to like move into content for those games as they got really popular and brought in new people to the Doom community, or were you always just going to stick to Doom no matter what?
No, I was going to stick to classic Doom because Doom 2016 is fun for, well, once you beat Ultra Nightmare, you're kind of done with the game.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, there's just nothing really else to talk about. Okay, maybe, I don't know, the scripting or the AI or something that is, I think, visible if you open like the game files. But I don't know, really, I think it's with most modern games that it's too complicated in a way to do all the research and look for all the files and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Doom, you just have, you open source. You just go to GitHub, you pull the code, and there you're done. And yeah, a WAD file, you can easily find all the textures and sounds and music. But for modern games, it's a lot more trouble to dig through all the content, and it just doesn't interest me at all. And there were other like YouTubers talking about Doom Eternal, like Under the Mayo, that he made incredible Doom Eternal videos. I would just never surpass that kind of quality. So I just, stuck to classic Doom and did the real Doom Eternal pros or experts make the videos.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose classic Doom has more longevity in terms of content for the most part. I mean, many keywords to choose from, and you can even
so many
mods and
quirks and source ports. Like, I still want to make a video about all the Boom changes, like the Boom engine changes, and maybe even MBF has these weird bugs that I want to talk about. So it's not just strictly id Software's Doom that I want to talk about, but also stuff that is now popular, like Boom, MBF21. I did make a video about Boom's RNG, for example, which was really interesting.
Even old versions of Z-Doom would be kind of interesting. That's an interesting little snapshot in the Doom community, I think.
I had a channel on my Discord about the differences between GC Doom Strict and just classic Doom, like vanilla / limit removing. There were very subtle changes, but it's a project I've been trying to get to work for like almost 2 years, I think, to find all the differences between GC Doom Strict and vanilla Doom. But I kind of abandoned the idea because it's just too much work. Yeah. And let's just say, I always say, okay, in GC Doom, physics are slightly different. Mankibai, when they do their second shot, their shot is fired at I think 11 degree offset instead of 22. It's like the tiny things like that. And in GC Doom, you cannot do thing running, but in vanilla Doom you can. But then again, who cares about thing running? How many maps use thing running?
You can't skip lines, right? Either in GC.
I don't know that.
Pretty sure you can't do line dev skips, or if you can, they're like extremely difficult. I'm pretty sure.
I do know you can do glides. I do know that. Well, all ghosts bugs, of course, fixed, but then again, that should be fixed in general. Like, I used to have the emulation turned on, but now it's off because it's just not worth risking killing your run because some stupid intercepts
that would
overflow.
Be brutal, actually, yeah. I wonder if that Mancubus angle thing is to help mitigate the fireballs clipping through walls and stuff.
No, it's software just made a mistake.
Oh,
they I'm not sure how the code is, but I think they accidentally subtracted the offset from the other offset instead of 0 minus the offset or something. So the offset is, I think, more than it's supposed to be.
Oh, I see.
I have to look at the code to exactly remember, but the offset for the second shot is wrong. It should be 11 instead of 22.
The only specific bug I remember from Doom, GZ Doom strict boom compatibility, was when I remember King Dime was playing through Flotsam, and he got to my map in Flotsam, and he was playing with boom strict compatibility on, and every monster in the level got released all at once because
maybe it's a conveyor belt
there was
issue.
Some problem with how the conveyors worked and the way I built them. I'm pretty sure I stopped building them this way, but I used to build them by having the it was like a lowered ceiling and it was clipped into the Voodoo doll to stop him from moving. But in GZ Doom and certain other ports, I guess with this strict compatibility on, he would just, I think he would be going so fast that he just clips through the little thing he was stuck in, and it would just activate every Voodoo at once.
Isn't also the conveyor belt speed also different sometimes? I'm not sure how it works, but
it is,
I've read that Z Dooms, especially on very low speeds.
Yeah, I think you want to keep your line defs that you use for creating your conveyors 32. I think that's supposed to be the most consistent. I think that's what Bridge Burner said anyway. But I think Zandronum and GZ Doom and Boom and uh, Z Demon, they're all different in how they handle conveyors, I'm pretty sure, which is hideous for testing across boards. But there you go. The joys of multi-port gameplay.
Yep, I've read a lot of horror stories about that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious about, you've sort of talked a little bit about your other channel when you do music work and things like that. I'm curious how you got into making MIDI in the first place. Do you have a musical background?
No, I don't. I have zero knowledge about music theory or anything. I just began placing notes. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good, and then I made a song that sounds good. I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned earlier in this podcast about me making a mod for Doom back in 2008, 2009.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. It was pretty much a mod where MS Paint Doom?
Yep.
Like all the sprites, textures, everything is redrawn on MS Paint.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that idea way before MS Paint, and I called it Paper Doom. Kind of like a Paper Mario kind of idea. Right. I don't know why it was paper, but everything looked like MS Painty. And I uploaded a video on YouTube, and a person named Peter sent me a private message on YouTube. This was before. This was back when YouTube still had like friends.
Yeah,
we could friend each other and message each other. Yeah. So he's like, "Hey, this looks cool. I would like to help you." So he gave me his email, and then we started talking on freaking MSN Messenger.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And it was actually pretty advanced MSN because you could have like a little Dropbox like file sharing kind of feature. So we just dropped all the textures that we worked on onto that, like in the cloud, you could say. This was back in 2008, so it was pretty advanced for the time. It was very limited though, but that's how we shared textures and stuff. So we did all the weapons, and then Peter was a bit more ambitious. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna make custom weapons," because this was like Skulltag, I think.
Uh-huh.
That's, by the way, the source code I used back then after Doomsday Skulltag.
Doomsday into Skulltag. Now that is an interesting port trajectory.
Yeah, but I never got into multiplayer. So
okay.
So Peter just started making custom weapons, and then he said, "Yeah, let's also make custom levels." I'm like, "Okay." I never made a level for it, but Peter also wanted to make custom music for the levels, and neither of us had ever made a MIDI before. So we started experimenting. We found out about Fruity Loops, which I won't deny I pirated that back then. I was young, okay. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a job. So yeah, we just figured it out how to make MIDIs using Fruity Loops, and I made a terrible, horrible MIDI that I still actually have. I still have my first MIDI on my computer.
Wow. You should upload it. I'll link it in the description.
Maybe I'll upload it to my Junkyard channel.
Yeah, do that instead.
It's basically, I was in my phase of, metal is the only music worth listening to, like everything else is bad. I don't know if you know about these copy pastas, like you say One Direction, I say Slipknot, that kind of
those really old Facebook memes. Yeah. I remember them well.
So my MIDI was pretty much Metallica metal kind of MIDI, and people somehow liked it when I uploaded like a video playing through a level that used that MIDI. But that's how I started. That's how I made my first MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did have guitar lessons in real life for a couple of years, but I wouldn't say that really helped much. If anything, I would say it was the other way around. Making MIDIs helped me understand like the frets on the fretboard, notes and stuff. I knew which notes I were playing, for example.
Right. Yeah.
And what sounds right and what doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, over time, I just made MIDIs once in a while. I think I made at least 100 in the last decade. And the best ones I've uploaded to my Bandcamp. And unfortunately, the others I lost due to a hard drive failure.
Oh, good. That's always
So I lost, I would say, 90% of my MIDI files.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. But I did upload them to YouTube before they died, but it means that I don't have the original files anymore, so I cannot edit them.
Shitty compressed audio as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, it's MIDI, so I don't know how much more.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
maybe it's not that
bad it can sound.
Well, Doom uses like a compressed format, I'm pretty sure. Again, it's like 8-bit MIDI or something. You
mean the original Vanilla Doom?
Or you mean even Boom will play anything, I think, but if you want to use like if you want to use like a WAV file for it, it has to be compressed down. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah. So yeah, I made a lot of MIDIs in the last decade, and the first MIDI that I really made for Doom was for Doom Kid's project, Mid the Way It Did, where I had I had to make the MIDI for Nirvana, Map 21.
Yeah, I saw this. That was interesting.
Yeah. So I made this weird, like, not sure what the name exactly is. I call it sludge metal. It's like very down-tuned and very
real.
Yeah,
Melvins and stuff like that. Sludge metal.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a weird MIDI for my favorite map, so something that expresses my thoughts. So I down-tuned stuff like, I think it's a trumpet. Kind of sounds like a wet fart. So yeah, no, I think it's a really fun MIDI. It's kind of short, but then again, the map is short, but it was really fun to make. And Doomkid was really excited. He's like, yeah, I've been listening to this for like the last couple of days, and it keeps getting better and better. So
wow, he loved that wet fart sound.
Yeah. And I think he likes the sludgy riffs.
Yeah,
like very down-tuned.
Well, if you haven't listened to Melvins and you like that kind of sound, you should check them out. You might like them.
All right.
So you moved on from doing that, and then you also did MIDI for TNT Evolution MIDI pack and the Alien Vendetta pack. So how did you get involved with those projects?
So Cami, he was the project lead of the TNT MIDI pack. He DM'd me on Discord, and I believe I may have to actually reread the first message he sent me, but I could be wrong. But I think he was impressed by my Nirvana MIDI, I think. I'm not sure, but he somehow found a way to my MIDIs. I'm not sure exactly how, but he invited me to try out Map 20, and I'm like, okay. So, well, I made it. The result was much better than I expected. Like I was really in the groove with this MIDI, and I think it's also my most popular MIDI with like 10,000 listens, I think, on YouTube. And got approved by Tom Mustaine, the original author of the MIDI, because my MIDI is pretty much a remix.
Right.
So it has like the motives and stuff of the original Horizon MIDI, and yeah, it worked out really well, and I'm still really proud of that. And then I got approached again, and Kemi's like, "Hey, can you also do Map 21? Because Gustavo 6046 is having a bit of trouble with it." I'm like, okay. So I took Gustavo's MIDI, which was kind of an ambient track. Didn't really fit Map 21, so I kind of made it more metal-ish, and I added stuff like a saxophone solo because, I don't know, elevator music. I don't know. No, that one also worked out really well. So thanks to Kemi, I could make those TNT MIDIs. I had a lot of fun making them.
And what about for Alien Vendetta? What was sort of the process like making MIDI for that? Did you play through the maps you were working on to try to gauge the atmosphere? Were you trying to capture something about the entire WOD, or was it mostly like you just wanted to make something kind of fun that you thought might fit?
Okay, I don't like Alien Vendetta. That's
interesting.
I don't enjoy playing through it, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't play through the map that I had to make a MIDI for. Not until I finished the MIDI, and then I just played through like the first 5 minutes to see if the MIDI fit or not. It did, fortunately, so I didn't have to play the entire map, but Kemi pretty much approached me, said, hey, you made great MIDIs for TNT. Do you also want to make one for Alien Vendetta? And then he just described what it should sound like. He said it should be like creepy, atmospheric, and that's pretty much it. So that description is all I needed to make the MIDI. And I did make some dark ambient kind of MIDI that sounds very evil, but then it kind of chills down and almost sounds hopeful in a way. I like adding like these, like I wouldn't say happy, but like sections in the major key, for example, with strings and stuff. I love the strings. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the MIDI instruments, but
not especially.
Like there's like this myself, yeah. There's like the string ensemble 1 and 2. They sound like very heavenly, and they really give like an heavily sound to your MIDI. I love using that. I think I use it in pretty much every MIDI I make nowadays. So. But yeah, Map 28 was made out of a short description by Kemi.
Right.
And he approved. He really liked it.
It's interesting hearing you say that you you don't like Alien Vendetta very much, mostly because it's been very heavily praised on this podcast. A lot of people
really
were introduced. Yeah, Skillsaw, big Alien Vendetta fan, for instance. That's sort of what got him into making his style of maps in a lot of respects, I think.
And I'm sure he played it back in, when was it released, 2001?
Yeah, he would have played it around then, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I first played it, I think 3 years ago, so I was kind of spoiled with
that's fair.
Other WODs.
To be fair, I played it relatively recently too, maybe around that same time, and I thought it was, I mean, I could see all of its flaws, obviously, but compared to Hell Revealed, I thought it was a far superior experience, personally.
I like Hell Revealed because of nostalgia, so that's my excuse.
That's fair, yeah.
And Alien Vendetta, I like Map 25. That's also one I showcased on my channel because it got submitted. And I don't know, it's just, there's something about the aesthetics that I don't really like. It's hard to explain. I just, playing through it, just there weren't any moments where I thought, oh, this is actually pretty fun. Maybe the first episode is fun because it's just a bit more run and gun kind of gameplay, which is Doom doesn't fail at that. But once you need to start cleaning up like large groups of enemies, it just gets tiring.
That's fair, yeah, for sure. I definitely
but hey,
didn't.
That's just my opinion.
But I thought it was more enjoyable than I expected. I'll say that. I went in with very low expectations after playing Hell Revealed 1 and 2, and then I was like, hey, you know what? This has some more interesting set pieces, I thought. Maybe.
Right.
But, you know. In terms of MIDI, did you have sort of influences in MIDI? Was it mostly just metal music, like that kind of thing, or did you listen to other people's MIDI? Like you mentioned Jimmy earlier on and stuff like that.
Jimmy was not exactly an influence, although I do love his MIDIs. I would almost say SL Fortune is a influence. Like the first couple of Backtestar X music MIDIs are like incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Those I really enjoyed. I think the Plutonia MIDI pack MIDIs were also quite inspiring. So in a way, Jimmy is an influence.
Yeah.
But I would say I think I developed my own style in the end with all the strings and the kind of like percussion heavy stuff. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm. And would you like to do? I'm presuming you'd like to do more MIDI work with map makers and stuff, or maybe if you make your own WOD, you said you're doing a bit more mapping.
Well, nowadays I only make MIDIs as background music for my analysis videos.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, at the beginning of the year, I thought, okay, I've been using other people's MIDIs for too long now, and okay, they get like credited and stuff. They get a link to their Bandcamp or to their whatever Spotify. But I don't know, it felt a bit dirty that I was like, well, obviously it generates ad revenue.
Yeah.
But it felt like dirty, like, oh, I use someone else's music.
Right.
So I kind of changed my mind, and I'm gonna make my own, just chill background loops that are not too complicated.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I
mean, I still use people's MIDIs, like maybe at the outro, like, but it's like for like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I like that you're conscientious about it, you know. I think a lot of people, especially bigger YouTubers, you know, a bit more flagrant about what they consider fair use in quotation marks.
Yeah, it kind of frustrates me when I see like a thumbnail with art that is clearly not made by the
worst,
YouTuber, and that they do not credit the person, or they use music in the video without credit. That's really a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the music's very stringent now. Like, you can't really get away with it too easily. But stealing artwork, unfortunately, I do see that a lot, and it also frustrates me. I think you should have some, at least attempt to understand, like, copyright and fair use and stuff when you're making that kind of thing. But I guess a lot of people don't. Well, I suppose with that question, we now reach the final question, which you said you've listened to the podcast before, so you know what's coming. I'm always a bit concerned when people have heard the podcast before that they're gonna try and pick like a crazy answer for this, but you know, I always want it to be
my favorite monster.
Yeah, what is
favorite enemy?
Favorite Doom monster.
I was thinking about this question yesterday, and well, the obvious answer is Archvile. I think many people said Archvile. It's the most interesting, mechanically speaking. Like STX File said it really well. Like, you have the Archvile jumps, you have the weird quirk that it has like instant targeting. Like, if you shoot it, it will instantly switch targets, and also the other way around. If you let an enemy hit a fireball, they will ignore you and attack the enemy instead. It's like fast, large health pool, low pain chance, resurrections. It's the most interesting enemy for sure, and also offers like stuff like Area of Denial. Can create a lot of pressure by releasing it in a group of corpses, stuff like that. So I want to say Archvile.
Yeah.
But my dog is drinking water, by the way. I'm not sure if you can hear it.
That's great.
But
I love it.
I also want to say, the Revenant is my favorite.
Also,
purely for the movement required. It really keeps you on your feet. Like, you have to keep moving if you want to get rid of like a big group of Revenants. Unlike, let's say, a big group of imps, all the fireballs, they follow like a linear trajectory. So you can just go from left to right and they will never hit you. So you just keep strafing and shooting. But Revenants really offer like let's say there's like 5 sniping Revenants, and there's like a cluster of 10 Revenant missiles chasing you, all while you're fighting these imps. It suddenly becomes a lot more interesting because you have to dodge the linear trajectory of the imps fireballs. But in the meantime, you kind of have to do like a figure 8 to not get hit by the cluster of Revenant missiles. And it gets even worse if you're like fighting on a bridge or something, that you really have to not fall off into the instant kill floor or something, or damaging floor. So it's really tough, but I'm gonna go for the Revenant just because of the homing missiles that really changed your mobility or limit your mobility, maybe even.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you're in good company. We've had a lot of people pick the Revenant as well. Ribix chose the Revenant, so.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what some people said, so I wasn't sure if the Revenant was already chosen, but I'm not surprised that it did.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, at this point, there've been quite a few options already picked, but yeah, I mean, the Revenant is obviously a common choice for anyone who's mapped with them and used them in things as well, because they're so versatile. And lots of interesting factors, like you said. They're really interesting as turrets compared to other enemies, because once the rockets are at a downward angle, that affects how the homing works, and so you got to deal with like rockets coming at you from weird angles and things like that.
I kind of abused that in my Poogers map, by the way. Bit off topic.
Oh, that's
I'm not sure if you've seen that map. Like, there's the whole gimmick of map 27 of Poogers is that missiles chase you, and you have to use those missiles to solve puzzles. And one of them is to hit a Commander Keen that is way, way, way above you. So you have to ride up a lift, and then the missiles have this weird acceleration going on when you change like the Z axis. So the missiles just fly up like way, way above your head, and then they hit the Keen, and then you can open the door.
That's cool.
I just wanted to say that because I still think no one has ever done that before, as far as I know.
Well,
or maybe a weird no Yi map did that, but I haven't seen them all yet.
Revenant rockets also have the property that they can activate certain line def triggers, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's also what I abused in the Poogers map.
I remember, because I've talked to Rubix quite a bit about that functionality. He's messed around with it a bit, but he did mention that someone had made a map where you did puzzles in similar ways.
I think it was a no Yi.
Yeah, maybe it was a no Yi map. Yeah, that's quite possible. But yeah, I suppose that brings us to the end. Revenant, a great choice. Very good monster for sure.
Yeah.
Archvile, an honorable mention. It always is an honorable mention. People always have to bring it up because it's the correct choice, if I'm honest.
Yeah. It's the most interesting enemy for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was an honor to have you on. It was great. Really good discussion. Found out a lot of things I didn't know, and I really enjoyed watching your content. And I found out a lot about like a lot of other Doomers, because you also like to share other people's content and stuff, which I really like about you. So yeah, it's been wonderful having you on, and thanks for agreeing to be on, and be good to chat with you in the future sometime, perhaps.
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind words. It was indeed an honor to be here, and I wish you the best of luck with the future podcasts.
Yeah, and the same goes to you for your channel, which is I mean, you don't need the luck, but I do wish you luck for it too.
Thank you.
Thanks again. All right, well, that'll wrap it up, and see you next time.